Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, friends, it looks like 2025 is officially the year of FAFO, F around and find out, and it seems as though next on the list are none other than the infamous sanctuary city clowns, in other words, the mayors of these big Democrat cities. We've obviously been following this mess in cities like Chicago and New York for a while, how these big city Democrats have been openly defying the federal government and defying ICE, releasing criminal immigrants with ICE holds back onto the streets, because of course, according to them, enforcing border laws is racist. They've been openly defying the Constitution, actively breaking the law, and they've simply been allowed to get away with it. But finally, like I said, 2025 is the year of FAFO. Of course, it's the year of accountability, and well, today, it seems as though we're getting one step closer to finally getting some answers here and holding people accountable, as the news just dropped that Congress has summoned 4 sanctuary city mayors to explain themselves to the American people. You know, starting this year, things were already exciting, but it seems as though it's getting more and more exciting by the day. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so this popped up on my timeline. George, otherwise known as Behizzy Tweets, just posted this on X. Breaking, Congress just summoned mayors of prominent sanctuary cities to come answer for their crimes. This includes Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, and New York City Mayor Eric Adams. It's getting real. Now let's go ahead and read one of these letters. There's 4 of them, but they're all basically saying the same thing. This is from the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform to the Democrat Mayor of Denver. And it says, the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform is investigating sanctuary jurisdictions across the United States and their impact on public safety and the effectiveness of federal efforts to enforce the immigration laws of the United States. Sanctuary jurisdictions and their misguided and obstructionist policies hinder the ability of federal law enforcement officers to effectuate safe arrests and remove dangerous criminals from American communities, making Americans less safe. Denver is a sanctuary jurisdiction that refuses to fully cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. To provide much-needed oversight on this matter, the committee requests documents and information relating to sanctuary policies of Denver. Additionally, we invite you to testify at a public hearing on the matter before committee on February 11th, 2025 at 10 o'clock in the morning. Sanctuary jurisdictions are states, counties, and cities that put some limits on how much they are willing to cooperate with federal agencies in their efforts to deport illegal aliens. These jurisdictions take it upon themselves to decide what laws they will and will not abide by, all for the purpose of shielding removable aliens, especially criminals, from federal law enforcement. There are about 12 states and hundreds of cities and counties with sanctuary laws and policies across the country. 4 cities, however, stand out for their abject failure to comply with federal law. That's Chicago, New York City, Denver, and Boston. Citizens of all 4 cities have suffered due to sanctuary policies. Boom, it's finally happening. And you know, it's got me thinking of what Democrats are always saying, right? Or at least what Democrats used to always say. No one is above the law, even the president. Yeah, well, I guess that same standard should apply to Democrat mayors as well, right? Right, Democrats? It's finally time to answer for your crimes. It's funny how the standard constantly changes with these Democrats, right? I mean, we can't ignore the blatant hypocrisy here. These are the Democrats who have spent years warning us not to mess with the federal government. You must abide. I mean, remember all the tough talk during the pandemic, right? Do as you're told. Listen and abide by what we say. Don't question anything or else. I mean, they always constantly make these appeals to the federal government when it benefits them, right? You can't mess with us. We got all the tanks and the guns and the fighter jets. So give us your guns. I mean, they're practically always begging for federal overreach, always appealing to the authority of the federal government when it benefits them. But now, suddenly all these mayors think that they could tell the federal government to pound sand. Well, they're about to find out bigly, I'll tell you that much. What happens when you mess with President Donald J. Trump, but not just that, what happens when you jeopardize the safety of the American people and you defy federal law? I think these Democrat mayors are about to learn very quickly just how serious this administration is. I mean, we already know Tom Homan's stance.
If I can arrest a U.S. citizen for violating those crimes, why can't I arrest a mayor or a governor who's given his staff explicit instructions to impede us and to hide from us? I'm not looking for a fight with these people, but I'm not going to run away from one either. We're going to enforce this law. We're going to do what the American people wants us to do. We're going to enforce the law. We're going to run this deportation operation. If you don't want to help, get the hell out of the way. But if you impede us, then we need to prosecute these people and send a message. This is no longer acceptable to anybody.
Tom Homan's on the record stating he's ready to put them in jail if they continue to defy federal law. And now, of course, we've seen the proper response from New York City's Mayor Eric Adams. But the rest of these clowns, I mean, they're trying to call the bluff.
We will continue to protect civil and human rights, and we welcome all individuals and families who want to work, live, and thrive here in our beloved city. The Welcoming City Ordinance is a law, and it is the law of the land here in Chicago. We will uphold it, along with the complementary Illinois Trust Act, to ensure that our immigrant communities are safe.
We got Brandon Johnson actively telling criminal illegal aliens how to evade the law and avoid deportation. This guy's practically building his own case against himself. It's absolutely unbelievable. Chicago leadership is also refusing to hand over to ICE criminal aliens that are held up in their jail system, in their state jail system, that is.
The city of Chicago and the state of Illinois and all of these sanctuary cities and states that are blocking them, every single person that we picked up yesterday had an ICE hold when they were in jail or in prison, and those ICE holds were not complied with by the state prisons or by the local jails. And so these guys, ICE had to go out into the community to get these guys.
Homan's going into the community to get bad guys and to actually take them to the tarmac, put them on a plane, and they're heading south. You're telling this audience that in the city jails and in the state prisons in Illinois, which they already have bad guys who are foreign nationals, that the mayor and the police commissioner and the corrections commissioner and Pritzker, the governor, they're not allowing ICE agents to go in and get those folks?
That is correct. They are not letting them in the jails. They're releasing them to the public so that they can go commit more crimes and make ICE go try to find them in the community. That is correct.
And we've also got a familiar face. We've got Keith Ellison, the woke Minnesota State Attorney General, basically parroting the same crap.
Recently, Trump official just issued a memorandum threatening local law enforcement with jail and investigation if they do not cooperate with federal law enforcement and immigration officials. They've tried this before when they were in power, and they lost just about all the time they were in court when they tried to coerce states into being their little deputies. So let me just say that I have no fear of the Trump administration. Absolutely not. We're going to devote the resources of our state to our state business, not immigration business. That's their business. We're going to do our business. And of course, we're not going to interfere with their business, but we're not going to do their bidding because it's not our job.
It's just an unreal sight to behold. I mean, this guy is an attorney general. He's supposed to be protecting his state and enforcing the law, but instead, he's acting as if he's auditioning for a job as a leftist social media influencer. It's disgraceful, but most importantly, it's criminal. Their behavior is inexcusable. And it's funny, the general double standard here. We've got the whole left-wing media and all these Democrats going on and on and on, ranting and raving about the January 6th pardons and how unacceptable that is. Oh, how could Donald Trump ever do that? But where's the outrage over this? I mean, what these sanctuary city mayors have done is far worse. By openly defying federal law and enabling sanctuary city policies, they've allowed violent criminals to flood into communities, violent gangs taking over the streets, fueling the fentanyl epidemic, devastating families and facilitating heinous crimes like RAPE, trafficking, and of course even murder. That's far more destructive to this country, far more devastating to innocent lives than anything that happened on January 6th, and these mayors are complicit in these crimes. But nobody seems to care, at least nobody in the mainstream media seems to care. But thankfully, finally, we have an administration that actually cares and is willing to do something about it, willing to put an end to the lawlessness that's been so devastating for American communities across the country. These people should be summoned, they should be forced to answer for their crimes, and frankly, if the facts line up, criminal investigations should be launched. You don't get to defy the law to break the law just because you're a woke Democrat mayor. That's not the way it works, and Democrats ought to be held to the exact same standard that they themselves set. No one is above the law, not even the president. And so that obviously includes all these Democrat sanctuary city clowns. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.